hell is that?
Marcus!
Help me! I'm losing air! I'm losing air! Brian!
Welcome back, everybody, to the Movie Buffer, and tonight we're going to be reviewing Moonfall. I know, yeah. Okay, let's get into it. Moonfall is a 2022 science fiction disaster film co-written and directed and produced by Roland Emmerich. It stars Halle Berry, Patrick Wilson, Game of Thrones John Bradley, Michael Peña, Charlie Plummer, and Kelly Yu. And to class up the joint, the remarkable Donald Sutherland makes a cameo. Now, the movie follows two former astronauts alongside a conspiracy theorist who discovers the hidden truth about Earth's moon when it suddenly leaves orbit. The movie was shot in Montreal for a whopping $146 million budget. It is one of the most expensive independently produced films ever made. The film was theatrically released in North America on February 4th, 2022 by Lionsgate and Summit Entertainment, and in the United Kingdom on the same day by Entertainment Film Distributors. It was a box office bomb, grossing only $67 million worldwide, and received mixed to negative reviews from the critics. In May 2019, Roland Emmerich was announced to be writing and directing the film, with the enormous budget I just mentioned. You know, he got $40 million from the Huayi Brothers, $15 million from Lionsgate, and another $15 million from Germany. It is one of the most expensive independent films ever produced, just like I said. But you know what? I think they're not going to be alone in this for too long. There are going to be plenty of people who are making movies, who are taking their own money, getting backers, and just, putting it together. Now, the idea of the script came to Roland after reading Christopher Knight's and Alan Butler's book, Who Built the Moon? It's already in my Audible playlist. I'm gonna listen to it right after I finish reading Fatal Vision, which I should do a review on that because it's pretty goddamn good. Fatal Vision, we'll talk about that later. Look it up. Google it. It's really interesting. Now, the book Who Built the Moon debated about the hollow moon hypothesis, a conspiracy theory about the moon being an artificial construction. And the script was worked on for 4 years. I don't know why in the hell it took him 4 years to write this book, but I'm a writer, and it's taken me over 7 years to write the 3 books I'm working on right now, so I won't even judge him on that, okay? I get it. I get it, man. In 2022, Emmerich spoke about the possibility of filming 2 sequels back to back if the first film was a success. I don't know if he'll get backing for another film. Maybe straight to video film, maybe, spend a little half that. I don't know. Anywho, that was his plan. And in the end of this movie, it does leave an opening for a continuation. So he put it in there. So, he's being hopeful that everything will work out. It didn't really work out, but who knows? He may get another chance to do Moonfall Part 2. Moon Rising. I don't know. John Bradley said that if Roland goes down the direction that he wants to, the sequel would be even more batshit crazy than the first. I don't know if I agree with John in saying that it's a batshit crazy film. It really isn't. But let's get to my review. This movie has a great idea and concept. Basically, if you liked Armageddon, 2012, The Day After Tomorrow, Independence Day, and even Mission to Mars, which I must do a review on because it's a definite hidden gem, all of those movies are in this movie literally. I mean, literally. It's like Roland sat down and said, okay, how do I write a disaster movie? Then watched a few of those movies and then went to work. Hilarious, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Maybe it's why it took him 4 years. He was like, okay, I can't put these ideas together. Hey, let me put in Independence Day. Okay, I like what you did there. And then he said, I'm still getting writer's block. Let's watch Armageddon. Okay, I see what they did there. Okay, that looks good. And, I'm serious. There are actually too many plot lines going on. I suppose he did this to create effect and emotion, but it was totally not needed. I love Donald Sutherland. Love seeing him come out of the darkness in his one scene that he appears in this movie. But even though the lines that he gave were pertinent to the movie, he didn't really need it. I mean, you could have found that information out somewhere else. I mean, someone else could have did it. So you didn't really need him in the movie, but I love seeing him. It was cool. Charlie Plummer, his little role and backstory in the movie was really not needed. Not needed at all, but I understand where they were going. They were trying to build depth, and you know how in all of these disaster movies there's like tons of people, little plot lines, but they usually focus on just, a few people and the task at hand. And the people in the background, you get them, you get the idea of them, they're shown, who they are and why they are, whatever, but you don't need the full story of who, of anything about them. He really goes into the story of a lot of other people that I really didn't think that was needed, and maybe that goes into direction. I really think he should have listened to or employed an editor, a movie editor to help with this, and maybe he did, maybe he didn't listen, I don't know. And just better direction. Maybe he shouldn't have directed it. Maybe they should have gotten somebody else to direct it. Maybe he was the only person to direct. A lot of times when you're dealing independently, you have to write it, direct it, you have to produce it, you have to come up with some money, you have to do everything yourself. The movie was actually very interesting and a great win for us conspiracy theorists like myself. You put time travel and space in a movie, I'm going to watch it. Now, this movie had nothing to do with time travel, but everything to do with space, and it was very interesting, and I like that kind of stuff, so maybe that's why I liked it. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you'll probably enjoy this as well, and if you love action movies, and then you'll probably enjoy it as well, and you'll enjoy the fact that you watched it at home. Like I said, the movie was actually really good, but it has all of the disaster scenes you've loved from previous movies, so no shockingness there. Even the actual plot line and the climax, you probably knew what was going to happen, even though it was kind of a new take on the disaster, the different type of disaster, which I found very interesting with the moon falling. Literally, it's called Moonfall, and what's happening in the movie? The moon is falling. Okay, so very adept title there. I wish it had a better backing. I wish he had another director. Probably would have worked. But most of these movies, their script is usually pretty simplistic with a lot of cliche tropes and all of that. It had all that in there. But even after I said all of that, it wasn't bad in my opinion. It really wasn't. It was a little cheesy. Okay, it was a little cheesy, but it was actually pretty good. My opinion is it didn't suck. I think it's worth a watch. Maybe it's not a blockbuster, but a good Saturday matinee in your home theater. And it had a lot of CGI, which wasn't bad, but it was so obvious. And one thing I noticed, I will say, water in any kind of animation, even CGI, is very hard to do. Apparently, they didn't have the top of the line water animation happening. That's because that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, okay, not great CGI, but I get it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a good watch. I was actually surprised. So, have you seen Moonfall? What did you think about it? Okay, if you haven't watched it, which you probably haven't, it's on HBO, you probably haven't watched it. Check it out and come back and tell me what you thought. I think it landed. I would like to see another one. I would like to see the continuation in part 2, to find out what happens next. Instead of the moon falling, maybe it's rising, or tell me what you thought. The comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next time, peace. 2 fingers.